Facebook. We're here, bitches. Just gotta fire up some stuff here, and then we'll get going. We're up here with the ghost hunters today.
Yep.
What the hell, the wave head?
And they're in uniform.
And
so am I, straight out of the Southgate.
Oh, I'm in uniform too.
We're gonna have
Ken's
to talk
uniform
about that.
is way cooler than yours, George.
I don't know. I'm
After
a big
the
fan of his.
pounding that the Patriots gave, what's it called? A couple minutes ago.
You don't even remember who it was?
The Dolphins. I don't even remember there because they're not noteworthy. It was
They're
like playing a
non-issue.
JV team. Pretty bad.
Our condolences.
All right, ready?
Yeah, it's all those Dolphin fans.
5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast. I am your host, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry, and with me tonight,
Worshipful Brother Ken.
Diana McManus of Liberty Ghost Hunters.
John McManus, Liberty Ghost Hunters.
you're not gonna come on.
Liberty Ghost Hunters!
Thank you. You got to do your catchphrase. All right, a couple quick things, little housekeeping stuff we're gonna go through. Me and Ken did a commercial a little bit earlier, which was great. You guys are gonna love it.
In our own opinion.
It's
I loved it.
hilarious.
I thought it was great.
I think you guys will like it.
It's great.
All right, so first things first, freemasonspodcast.com. Joe, show him your shirt. Joe. Ken, show him your shirt.
All right. So I can't bring the mic up and I can't talk about it at the same time.
That's
So I'll
fine.
model it and you
just
talk
do this.
about it.
Do one of these like I'm doing.
Not
Straight out of
cool.
Southgate. Got the Southgate shirt. I got to be the Southgate guy yesterday at the farm degree.
So I hear.
We had an awesome time.
Congratulations.
It was a really good time. And I will say two things. One of the cool things about this is obviously it's no secret, during the Master Mason degree, you symbolically die and you get buried and all this stuff. You can find it on the History Channel. No secrets here.
Nope.
But they actually dig a hole to put a body in. And after I did my part, which was I was one of the bad guys, and they end up, the bad guy gets axed, and I walk up to the top of the hill, and Joe's at the top of the hill, and I said, hey, Joe, I'm dead. And we get up there, and I mean, as soon as I got underneath the tent, it started downpouring. I mean, the skies opened up, it started downpouring everything. I'm going, oh, God.
That was the Masonic gods getting very angry.
Brother Steve Hudson's still in the hole.
Oh,
We're going to have to go send him down a straw because he's going to be underwater in a little bit, just breathing through the straw. But anyway, it was a good time, really good time, good food. We had a good time. So farm degree. I don't know if they're doing it next year, but if you get a chance to see themed Masonic degrees, they are definitely good
Always
times.
a good time. I think they've been doing it annually for quite some time now. I would think they
Yeah.
continue the tradition.
Really good time. I got there, I think 1:00. It's commenced at 4. We were doing rehearsal, which didn't end up turning to be a rehearsal, but it was a good time. Hang out with a lot of brothers. One Mason, because again, we talk about, the light side of Freemasonry over here. One Mason decided to show his ass because they told him to strip down. So it was fun times, shenanigans.
Yeah.
But moving on, our Facebook page and all that stuff, you know about it. You know who we are. The community page, answer the damn questions or you're not getting in. We got some likes. We have a ton of likes. David A. Jihad, John Cole, Marlon Davis, Don, if I butcher your name, it's par for the course for me. Kiloni, I think it's right. Robert Bryant, Josh Rosvier, Mason Reese, good first name.
Yeah, seriously.
Len Smith, Don E.D., William Smith, Michael Walker, Scott Mason, Jimmy Golden, Jeff Lowe, Ryan Goins, Scott Simpson, Eds Garcia, Andrew Ramage, Jacob Strickland, Rob Bata, Roger Settlemeyer, I think, Jake Morgan, Joshua Brown, Tommy Meldon, Kenneth Mallory, Alexander Yasin, June Castor Magasino.
Where are we on this?
Second to top.
Magzino,
thank you.
Yeah.
And Peter Lyons all like the podcast.
That's a heck of a lot of likes.
There's
Yeah,
a
it
freaking
is.
ton of them. So
Thank you, brothers and
That's
friends.
awesome.
we're going to toast them. Brethren, right hand to arms. Brethren and ladies, right hand to arms.
To ours.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire. Good fire. Fire all. Got to keep it up. Got to learn to keep it up.
Yeah.
Together, brothers. Vivat! 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 One other thing I was talking about that I wanted to just bring up on the farm degree while I was there, the most worshipful Grand Master, Mel Johnson, was there.
So I hear. I heard his entire suite was going to be present for that degree.
It wasn't. It was just him. But I got a chance to pull him to the side, and within the next couple of weeks, hopefully, he will be up here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
So I got the Grand Master to come up here.
Excellent.
Very cool.
And so, good thing. All right. I'm not going to go through all the comments and everything that people have been writing to me, but I do get your messages. There's a lot of them. This last couple of weeks has been insane with people writing in, messaging, and asking questions and everything. But I just want to make them all noteworthy as well. There's one last thing I want to check, and we have another Apple rating. This one from Christopher Figueroa, number 5-star review. Surprised. After being in the Army and being exposed to Freemasonry from my old supervisor, I have some questions about Freemasonry and kept asking around until I came across this podcast. And I'm glad to say I now have the confidence to join the fraternity, and thanks to y'all. Keep up the great work. Awesome.
Awesome to hear that.
Thank you.
Very cool.
That's great.
What I do in my battle.
Uh,
Keep the label hidden so that we don't end up getting whacked for whatever.
Particular brand of ginger ale.
I'm just going to pass it down. So, Cat. So, well, thank you very much. That's what makes this all worthwhile. We've been doing it. As a matter of fact, me and I believe Ken, I talked to you about it. Me, you, and Joe kind of had a conversation about something we're trying to do. One of the things we're going to do is I actually have we have officially asked Brother Peter Daigle from New Hampshire to be our official artist. So
cool.
If you can see, this design right here is a bumper sticker that we made, and we've distributed them. It's Puppet George in the square and compasses. And that's a design that Peter Daigle did. He's also making a new thing for us, which is going to be a card, and we're going to be distributing the basically the image to our Discordians and anybody else who's interested. And their job, and this is kind of a little thing that our podcast is promoting, is to go to veterans hospitals and Fisher houses and other places that that are veteran kind of oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we're doing this is for, number one, in the military, it's a very tight knit brotherhood, and it's a brotherhood that you'll never get again, with the exception, or the closest you're going to get to it is Freemason.
Yep. We're not saying it's the same.
We're not
It's
saying
an
it's the same.
approximation.
We're not saying it's
but
an
it is a
approximation.
brotherhood.
But I also want to add that a veteran dies every 22 seconds from suicide. And if we can give a veteran a sense of that brotherhood again, maybe we can turn that clock back.
Definitely.
And that's what we're up to.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be commissioning a card that I'm looking at myself in the live feed.
Yeah, you got to fix your hair a little bit. There you go. Good now.
But if we can commission brothers, to go to these veteran places, maybe we can turn back the tide of, veterans committing suicide. And on top of that, it also brings good people who defended our country into our craft.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing. That's what we're up to. That's what we're doing. If you want to be on board with this, shout out and let us know. You can reach me, Ken, Joe, basically on the podcast, and you can see what we're doing.
We're going to be putting some campaign materials together,
Mhm.
and we'll make sure that we get you guys everything you need to.
I've also spoken
Join in
to Mike, the intern from the Masonic Roundtable, and I said, hey, get on board with us. And he's reaching out to them, and hopefully we can do a joint podcast thing where we can work together and get this ball rolling.
That'd be
basically.
awesome. I mean,
definitely.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
benefiting veterans, you're benefiting the craft.
That's what we're
Everybody's
trying
happy.
to do.
Saving lives.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, and show everybody what we are up to. So, anyway, did we toast? We did not toast the Apple
We did
Apple
not.
5-star review. So, Ken, lead it.
All right, brethren and ladies, right hand to arms.
Arms.
Ready,
Ready.
aim,
Aim.
fire. Good fire, fire all. Together, brethren and ladies.
Vivat, vivat, vivat. All right. Washington's rules of civility and decent behavior. Let's see here. Last one we did. Think before you speak. Pronounce not imperfectly. Got my balls busted for that.
Yeah.
Nor bring out your words too hastily, but orderly and distinctly. Pretty simple.
How do we think George did on that one, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh, Jesus. Don't get him started,
Okay.
please. Don't.
We'll leave that to our page followers. You guys
Matthew
can
Butts,
comment.
our newest Discordian. What's going on, brother?
Evening.
Matthew Ito. Keep it up, guys and gals. Oh, by the way, before we get into this, this is just a listeners' questions podcast. It's going to be, you could ask Masonic questions because we have 3 Masons in the house,
Yep.
but we also have ghost hunters in the house.
So you can ask some ghost questions.
You can ask some ghost questions.
Paranormal
So
questions.
Please.
this is up for
Or
you.
any questions. We don't care.
Any question?
Yeah.
This is your time to shine.
I'm a
Ask
Pisces,
question.
by the way. In case that was anybody's question. No? Okay.
Well, relevant. Pisces, aren't they the quiet ones? Don't say much.
Yes.
Stay out of
Yeah,
it.
pretty much.
I'm a Leo.
Which
means I'm a-
We're
Stubborn.
all aware of you
Stubborn.
being a Leo.
Yeah.
Nasty pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm one of those sensitive cancers.
Number 82.
John, what are you?
Gemini, Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a twin.
I'm on the
So on
brother.
the
cusp of
cusp.
Taurus and Gemini, so
He's
I'm
all
all
bull.
messed up.
oh shit.
Uh-huh.
My father's a Gemini. You know, my father says, actually, my mother, she's watching too. My father says he's a Gemini. He's like, I'm the nicest guy on the planet, but don't piss off the twin.
Mhm.
All right.
But he has that Taurus
But
in
I
there.
got the bull.
Oh,
Number 82.
Get like a nose piercing.
Can you imagine that in Lodge? Nah.
Pretty awesome.
get a Masonic one.
All right, number 82 of Washington's rules for Freemasons in life and in lodge. Undertake not what you cannot perform, but be careful to keep your promise. That is to say, make promises you know you can keep. Never promise what you cannot do. Pretty simple.
Yep.
You're going to piss people off if you make promises you can't keep.
This is true.
So,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much all I got for that. So anyway, October 19th,
Yes.
we have an event.
Yes,
You guys want to talk about it? Run with it.
October 19th, we will be here with you guys for our paranormal presentation.
So excited.
Definitely.
So excited.
Good time.
Definitely excited. We got a lot of good stuff.
There's a lot you haven't even shared with me yet.
No. You only have the tip of the iceberg, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. You only have the tip of the
It's
iceberg.
more fun if it's a surprise.
Of
Exactly.
course. Yeah.
So we have a lot of audio. We have video as well.
Photos.
A lot of video. We have photos as well. So it's going to be good.
So I know we have this.
Very good.
I know we have the computer skeptic in the house, but with your guys' expert opinion,
Computer skeptic?
I don't know. You work with
I'm
computers.
not
You're a
skeptical
skeptic.
about computers at all. I love them. There's one right here in front of me.
I don't think Ken's such a big skeptic because he's done a Facebook Live during one of our
Oh,
investigations.
yeah. He's been on one of our investigations when we did the
We have
Waterbury
footage of
Masonic
Ken in
Lodge.
it.
He was
That's true.
there firsthand.
We have ghosts right above his head in the picture. So
Mm-hmm.
Really?
yeah.
I got to see this picture.
There's also
You
what
didn't
Ken
see
and
the
I.
I'm going to pull up the Facebook Live. I'll see if I can drop a link to it.
Was
on
it
I have
our
all of
pages,
them
'cause
saved.
Trying to be as political.
I was trying to be scientific about it.
He
Did
was.
you- So he had a
but
ghost
then we
over
got
his
toward-
head.
No, we got
Was it-
toward the end where we walked over toward the preparation
So-
room. That's when I got a little goosebump.
You got teabagged, basically.
No,
What
he
you're
didn't.
saying.
No,
Yeah, I got
no, no, no,
feedback.
no. What? No, we actually have a
Goosebumps.
photo when we were doing the spirit box session, which we will be doing a live on that night.
And Ken was just looking at his
He was
phone.
just looking at his
Right
phone,
above
and there's
his
your orb
head.
right over his head. But before that, Ken was doing his Facebook Live with me, and we were at the altar talking about things. We were doing a little bit of a Q&A session that
Yep.
night, and we heard this loud bang come from our lodge. We have an organ in the back left corner.
Yep.
This huge bang comes over. We're like, what the hell is this? We go back there. My K2 meter starts going nuts.
And it's ice cold.
And it's freezing.
Like, for no
you
reason.
step back
Wow.
3 feet, nothing. It's fine. So I tell Ken, sure, why not? I tell Ken, take a step back. We have audio that I believe is on our Facebook,
Yeah,
our website. Of
it's on the website.
I remember you sent it to me.
yeah, I sent it to you. I said, Ken, you may
We
want to
also
take
play
a
it in our-
step back. You hear a disembodied voice go, hell no.
Really?
Basically, John goes, "You might want to take a step back," and it goes, "Hell no."
Yeah. So
Yeah.
neither of us opened that door. We were just like, maybe
Yeah,
let's go
we
back
ain't doing
downstairs.
it.
I'm like, yeah, okay. So me, the skeptic, I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. Yeah, let's
But
just
they
leave.
didn't
That's
know
cool.
about the hell no until we listened to the audio.
We had no
Because that
idea.
didn't even
So you're a
get picked up
skeptic
on the
because you're a
Facebook
candy
Live.
ass, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a skeptic because he's like,
Why can't I?
yeah,
be
no,
both?
I'm not opening that door. Actually,
I can still get weirded out.
Brother Michael
It
Olchin
was
says, just jumping in, love your work, Ghost Hunters.
Thank you, Mike.
You guys got the little shout out.
Appreciate it.
So in your expert opinion,
Yes.
without divulging anything with the stuff you've seen
Mm-hmm.
up here, haunted or not?
You have
Definitely
activity going on.
paranormal activity.
Awesome.
Nothing.
Nothing
Bad.
that would be, yeah, exactly. Nothing that we would consider be demonic.
Hey, help
Nothing
me
that
out.
we would see.
Yeah, nothing we would need
Again, I hated that freaking
to
bell.
take care of.
They threw it down the hallway for me.
Exactly.
Nothing
Exactly.
bad.
Nothing
We
bad.
definitely have,
Oh,
hazards.
you definitely have paranormal activity going down.
I had the cigarette pack. I threw it up on the shelf. They simply placed it on the floor on its end, basically like this,
Yeah, telling you.
And they
quit
said-
smoking.
and clean your shit up. Don't
Yeah,
just throw it
and
all
also
over the
don't leave
place.
garbage
Yeah.
laying around.
Listen,
I
they're
mean,
just
that's-
doing me a solid. That's all it is.
They're
Mhm.
giving you subtle hints of how they want things done.
Pretty much.
As usual, isn't that usually what past masters do? Give
Matthew
you a
Butt,
little hint.
Matthew Butts writes, I'd be out the door. You've never seen a fat guy run so quick.
Oh, we have.
We have. Yes, there's been a couple people, different locations we've been, and they're like, nah, and they're gone.
I remember.
Something
I
happens.
remember a couple brothers of our lodge, or your lodge actually, that ran out of the room when you guys.
Uh-huh.
Were there.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Joseph Schultz, serious question.
Yep.
How come ghosts don't get caught on camera? Years wasted watching ghost hunters on A&E, no apparitions.
It all depends.
On video camera?
I think he's talking about it in video.
The Ghost Hunters show on
Ghost Hunter show. In other words, he said he
But they
wasted
never
years
captured
watching
it.
Ghost Hunters and nothing ever popped up.
Well,
They did have one that peeked over when there was the lighthouse.
I think he's
Right,
talking about
but in
distinct,
general-
like, hey,
Oh.
how you doing? I'm right here.
see,
Beetlejuice shit, basically.
in generally, I've been doing this on and off for 13 years.
Mhm.
Generally, you don't get the Holy Grail. A full apparition is a Holy Grail shot. You don't get that. Most times you're going to get your orbs.
Mhm.
Most times you get audio, but you're not going to get a full apparition. That is the Holy Grail.
Are there
got it
incidences
on
where you
camera.
guys see something, but you don't get the same thing on camera?
Correct.
Well,
Where like
now-
you'll see something and it'll be like.
See, it all
full on.
depends on how much energy a spirit has. You think about it, and you want to get metaphysical here. We're all made up of energy.
I feel like there's a shot back to the Patreon Kybalion episode.
Yeah, and
Bingo.
also what
Exactly,
you were talking about.
exactly
last
where you're
podcast.
going, what you're thinking. So, being an engineer, I know energy cannot die; it only transforms.
Mhm.
So, a spirit, those of us who are scientific mind in the field, like myself, who's electrical engineer, go and look at it that way. I said, okay, the energy level. If they don't have enough energy to form a full body apparition, you're not going to get it.
Right.
That's why we have EMF pumps or generators to help put more energy into the atmosphere that they can use to just be audio, just to make sounds
And to
or
not drain our
voices
batteries.
and not kill our batteries. Well, yeah, no batteries.
Oh, I see. That's
So,
what you.
Two
That's
things.
why the batteries always
I
die out.
apologize about the shameless Patreon plug. And
No,
number
that's fine. It's your show.
Number two, you're getting questions fired in left and right now. So
That's fine.
Fire
We're
me.
happy to answer them.
Greg Schultz, the other half of the Bash Brothers, as I
Yes,
call
the
them,
other.
have
The other Schultz.
have the ghost hunters ever encountered evil spirits, and how do they deal with them?
on
On the podcast, I know my answer would be a Mossberg 500.
Yeah,
but
exactly. I'd be out of the industry at that point. Like that's it. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, yes, we have.
Um,
Poor worshipful brother Chris, who's one of our co-founders, has gotten slapped twice in the face. We actually have video of it
it
and
also, the
photos.
entity also swears, says,
Wanted to kill Ken.
Really?
Said it wanted
Yeah,
to
there
kill
was that
Ken.
one
Said it
time.
wanted to kill me.
see, he won't admit it, but I have all that audio.
It's because I'm
We
trying
have
really
the-
hard to forget it.
But also,
The ghost tells you it wants you to die. I mean, it's like,
And nothing makes
I don't
me
wanna, like,
happier.
I don't want to bring that
And
story around and
I
tell
hear it.
everybody at a party.
But
I hear it. It's like, yeah, whatever.
So that's what audio. My favorite thing is just sending someone a message like that because I love doing that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's like,
I'm
hey, just so you know,
just
listen
so
to
you know.
this. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
But all joking
That's
aside,
like
So
my
he's
pleasure.
he's a skeptic that wants to be a skeptic.
Yeah. Exactly,
All
'cause I don't
I
wanna
do the
talk.
same thing
It's all
to
making
Jack.
sense now. It's all making sense now.
I do the same thing to Jack. I message him,
Yep.
hey, Jack.
but no,
This will
all
happen.
seriousness, we actually have a who actually is an entered apprentice with our lodge, is a minister. He's an ordained minister. We do work with him, and he could come out and do blessings, smudgings. God forbid.
Smudging, is that like what you do with dogs when they?
No,
I'm just
come
asking.
on,
Yeah,
no. Smudging is actually based on Native American
Oh,
culture,
okay.
When you
where
burn the
you
sage.
burn
Oh,
sage.
okay.
and-
I didn't know what that was
go through
called.
the
I was just
house.
burning sage.
But there's a whole thing
But
about
there's
it.
a
You just
whole
can't
thing
whip
you
out
do.
some sage and burn it.
No,
That's not
no,
how
there's
it
a whole
works.
procedure
There's a
that they
ritual.
do.
If you don't do
Yeah.
it properly,
And if it ever gets to that level of, which we hope it never gets to, is
Right.
exorcisms.
Right.
But
Now, would you guys if you ever had to deal with that kind of thing, would you reconsider doing this?
no, not at all.
You would just be like, oh, it's another.
we've had some creepy
We've
stuff.
had
The
some
job.
creepy stuff, but me personally, I got involved 13 years ago to do this to help people.
Mhm.
Because my first thing was when I was 16.
Events.
I had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yep.
I had my experience. Nothing's there. Where do I go to? Who do I talk to? And we're talking
No internet. At that
umpteen
point.
years ago. The internet was in its infancy. No, I'm not giving my age out, but
Yep.
you didn't have. There's such a stigma. Never mind not having the technology, but the stigma alone. Back then, you were considered crazy. People would
Unless you were in my family
nuts.
where it was regular discussion
Well, yeah, your family.
on
that
Sunday
was just
dinners,
normal
and you could ask my
discussion
cousins,
for
Brittany and Stephanie.
hundreds of years.
But there's something in my parents' house that my parents were like, oh, forget it. I used to put my toy box in front of my closet door because the stairs led up into my attic, and there was something that would harass me in my room, but my parents never believed me.
Right.
But-
Just some kid with a monster.
It's just a kid
story,
with an
right?
imaginary
That's
mind.
what they think.
You got another question.
So yeah,
Matthew Butts, what is the most haunted place that you've been to?
Waterbury Masonic Lodge.
Really? It's that bad?
Ken.
Wow.
Seven
I didn't think that
en-
was the most haunted
There are
place. You guys
7
have been to a lot of places.
entities. One
That we
leads
know
them
of.
all.
Joseph Schultz.
Well, no,
So-
for me personally, I've been to quite a few places.
Uh-huh.
Doing it for 13 years.
Right.
For me, it's Waterbury.
But it's too many to list off. I mean,
Right.
you think of Pomfret, they've got up there.
Mhm.
They've got Waterbury Masonic Lodge. We have so much going on in there.
Mhm.
There's so many. You have activity here, so it's not that. Yeah, it's not. It's not that haunted. It's a level of okay. How much activity
Yeah, I was
is
just gonna
going
say.
on? Is it malevolent? Is it not malevolent? That's how we gauge it by.
So
I got to go to Waterbury Masonic Temple on Thursday for our fellow craft.
I got Monday. Okay, I'm there
So-
tomorrow.
I kind of wish I didn't have this conversation.
So Joseph Schultz and Greg Schultz are two brothers out of
Yeah, I
Delaware,
know
and they're terrorists. So I'm sure you've heard all about them.
that.
Joseph Schultz
Yeah.
asked, "Would you ever hunt ghosts while drunk?
No,
One
that is
thing-
one thing
he said-
do not do.
If not, would you want to?"
No.
I also think, and this is just me. Anytime you're inebriated in any way, shape, or form, you're probably not going to pick up on much.
No, and it's not
I
professional.
don't
probably-
think on much. It's professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be focused in case, quote unquote, shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the cameras,
And
and
you
I need
got-
to make sure that everybody's safe.
Everybody's
Right.
safe.
And I can't handle the drinks.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
I had one drink, Diana's gone.
So
Diana did
we
her toast
say-
with Gatorade. So
And what happens if
Exactly.
you don't grab that perfect evidence that you've always been waiting for? And it's
Exactly.
like, oh well, he was
It's
drunk.
not even
Like,
about
look
the
at him.
evidence.
Like,
It's about the
yeah, I can
safety
see
of
that.
our team.
we go over evidence after the fact.
mhm.
Yeah, we'll go through photos we're taking,
Mhm.
but video, audio,
Yeah.
that's done back at Ghost Hunters
Right.
HQ.
right.
Our dining room.
Yeah, our dining room, and we do that after the fact because we're focused on debunking, seeing what's going on, see if we can get something to spark an entity to appear or interact with us. we're not worried about evidence collection or
But it's
review.
safety.
Actually,
We're
at that-
worried about
and
safety most of all.
Because we're in
during
the dark.
investigation.
Yeah, you're in the dark. You
We're
don't
in
know
pitch black dark.
But
We don't want to
also
trip over the
Spiritual
tables and things.
safetyness.
Yeah.
We
That's
don't want to have somebody more open where something
Right.
can attach. So
Because we do have mediums that work with us on our team, and God forbid something happens to anybody physically, but also
mentally,
spiritually.
yes.
Yeah,
Don't pay attention to me laughing. I'm reading as you're talking, and some.
Spit them out, George.
All right,
Actually, that's a pretty good one from Greg.
Greg. Yeah, but wait, you'll see it in a minute.
Oh.
Greg Schultz, have you ever met any spirits in have you met any famous spirits in historic places? Like, have you ever had? I guess what he's saying is, if you've ever been to like
Gettysburg or something.
Gettysburg or something where you heard like, I'm Robert E. Lee or something like that,
I have. I've been.
I don't think they really
Gettysburg.
identify themselves.
No, they
No.
usually don't.
Yeah.
I've been to Gettysburg. I went to the Jenny Wade house. And this was before I even met John. This was was it the 90s? I did go down in the basement before I even got into ghost hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I did feel something down there, but it never was anything. When I was at Gettysburg, I did hear in the battlefields, I did hear gunshots and things like that, but nothing came out and said, hey,
and Gettysburg is one of those places that it's creep. I remember being there as a kid.
Everybody feels a little weird
You
there.
feel weird.
Yeah.
It's dead silent. There's
Yep.
no birds that sing.
Nothing.
It's dead
Oh, yeah.
silent.
because
First time I
those
went down
fields
there,
were covered in
back in my
blood
teens,
and bodies.
Yeah.
It's a somber experience to go there.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, when I went there, it was just going on vacation. It wasn't going to do investigations because at that time I wasn't. But I definitely had things.
So Greg is doing what he does, Greg Schultz. He says, George is inebriated on most podcasts. He speaks from experience.
That's not true.
That's not true.
No.
But you know what? It's for the comedy. It's fine. Most of the time, we're not inebriated whatsoever.
Yeah.
The Dolphins were today, clearly.
Yeah,
they had
something
some
was
serious
going on
problems going on with that.
Possessed, maybe.
Joseph Schultz, here's another serious question now. How can you tell if it's a human or inhuman spirit? How could you tell?
Well, normally, the example that we have is we ask very specific questions, and we have had an inhuman spirit try to mock a human spirit
Yes.
in our home.
Mm.
They didn't answer the questions quite right, and between our sensitives and our mediums, and John and I were able
It's a
to
fine.
tell.
It's a fine line.
Right.
Because if
Plus, we don't
it's-
really believe spirits on what they say. We're always very skeptical, and I'm always like,
Right.
not too sure.
especially when you hear kids' voices,
Yeah.
Right.
very skeptical.
I actually
Not
listened to
trusting.
your podcast about that. It's kind of
Yeah.
What's an
But
inhuman
it's-
spirit?
inhuman spirit is like demonic or
Anything that it has
hypophobic.
not
It's
been a
appearing-
human being prior.
Okay.
And it mocks and pretends to be.
It will do. It basically, an inhuman spirit is there to torment. It's there to basically break you down and take you over, or take that person over.
So, I'll never have to worry about their back. Fuck him.
Yeah, exactly.
I would
This
never
guy can't
do
even
it.
freaking
We
spell.
thought we
Nothing to
should
do with
have
him.
No souls. What
No,
did he say?
Joe has no soul.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joe has no soul.
I thought it was Ginger.
But
Well, Joe
And then
is
again,
ginger.
it's also because he's ginger too. So he's watching live. He literally just popped on. So that's why
Ooh.
it's open. It's firing range
WB
now.
Joe.
He's
Hello,
on range.
brother.
He's on range 15 right now. So. Yeah, no, Joe doesn't have a soul. But the minute that something tried to get inside him, they're like, "Oh, he's got red hair. Never mind."
They would
We're
vacate,
out."
yeah.
They would vacate quickly.
Understood.
Translucent.
Serious
See
question,
right
no.
through him.
Yeah.
Other than that, other than cold or touch, have you ever smelled things?
oh god, yeah.
I know that for a fact.
That
Yes.
for me.
I mean, I don't know if he's lining up a joke here, but I'm going to
No,
say
seriously, that is actually one of the ways a family member will get in contact with somebody.
Uh-huh.
My grandfather, on my mother's side, passed
Yeah, he's
away.
good for that.
And he's good for that. There's a specific smell. He smoked these specific cigars when he was living.
Mhm.
And it had that pungent smell. You knew it anywhere. You're like, yep, that's him. When he passed.
Greg said no joke, by the way. He's being serious. So he
No,
wasn't
I
lining
know
up or anything.
Greg. After my grandfather passed, and it took a year or so, all of a sudden I would get that smell, and I'm like, what the heck is is that smell?
Well,
Come out of nowhere. I'd be outside. I get that smell. Nobody's around me.
Actually, on your
I'd be at
podcast,
my
I spoke
house.
about my mother. My
Right.
mother died when I was 15. Not
Right.
very many people know that. She died of cancer. And one of the things I used to do when I was a kid was I would play with her hair. And I remember the smell of her hair, the oil, the oils of your hair. It's got a smell to it.
Mine,
And I remember after she
everything.
passed, I could even tell you exactly where I was. My dad was trying to get my sister to go to the bathroom before we were leaving the house. And I remember walking into the hallway and getting that whiff of oily hair.
Mhm.
I mean, instantly threw me right there. And that's me personally.
Smell is one of the biggest things that
Right.
we hear from people we interact with, whether clients or not, that they will get a smell from a family member. Oh, definitely.
Oh, shit. Matthew Butts. Notice Joe didn't join today when people that specialize in soul spirits arrive.
Being the empty vessel of a man he is, yes. Scott did it. Here I am.
Didn't
in
even
this
come
place.
from me.
God.
Oh,
To Joe's
it's so
defense,
hard
he
to
didn't
sit
know
here.
he would be here.
And again,
Yeah, exactly.
I
There's no way
see
he
it
could've
kind
done
of right on because the camera's attached
Right,
to my computer, so I
exactly.
see it as instantly comes through. Ken's a little bit. I think you're a little
it.
delayed.
I got a delay.
You
yeah.
got a delay on it. Well, when I see, it's so hard for me to keep a straight face sometimes some of this shit comes through. Matthew Butts. You want to?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Matthew asks, guys, what was the most positive experience you've had with a spirit? So on the other side of the spectrum, best experience you've had.
Best one we've had, positive experience. We actually got, and this is years ago before Diana and I met. I was actually with a couple friends of mine, and one of our mutual friends at the time when I was back in college was a medium, and there was someone that was, for whatever reason, was trapped where they were in a specific building, and my mutual friend was able to move that spirit on and was able to get that spirit that was formerly a person to move on
Mhm.
and not be trapped there anymore.
That's cool.
And we,
So you did a
and
service.
they were able to help the people of that building and what was going on. And that was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And that's kind of my defining moment of when I started, you know what? I want to
Decided
start
to do
helping
this.
people.
Cool.
And my most positive experience was very recently. We went down to New Jersey. We
Mhm.
had a client that was too scared to stay in her own home.
We did.
Mm,
I remember you
John-
guys going on that. I think
Yeah,
you posted
John,
it.
myself, and Jen went.
Yeah, we went
We
down.
did an overnight. We were able to, and it's a good thing,
Mhm.
not find paranormal.
Because
Stop.
we don't want to find something. We want to be able
Mm-hmm.
to go to someone's house or a building and not find it. Or in your
Right.
situation, yes, you do have spirits, but we know that they're not bad. We know that while they're here, we kind of figured it out from what we've gotten.
Mhm.
So we don't want to find something.
And we don't want someone
people
to be afraid in their own home. Your
Right.
home
Safe
is
in
your
their own
safety
home.
zone.
Mhm.
So that was a positive experience for me to be able to explain everything scientifically, so she understood. We did give her different ways to protect herself with different sorts of stones like
Mhm.
selenite and things, and be able to walk away positive that we didn't find something evil in our house. We didn't find anything paranormal. We were able to debunk the whole thing and to give someone a sense of peace in their home.
Yeah.
that's good.
So let's bring it back to Morningstar Lodge. Again, you guys have seen all of the evidence. You've only given me clips and stuff.
Right.
I've kind of helped out with certain things that
Right.
creep the shit out of me, which is the one thing that me and Diana were going back and forth trying to figure out what it says. The laugh is kind of whatever. It's a laugh. It's kind of creepy ass laugh. Ken
Yeah.
heard it.
It's a creepy laugh, yes.
But there, again, we've already kind of talked about it a little bit. But basically, I was in a room with another female, and she said, "Do you want me to leave, or do you want George to leave?" No response. She said, "Do you want me to leave?" And you hear the KT meter going bloop bloop, bloop, and then ha 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 ha. At one point, I sat down on the floor, and again, we're in a prep room, and I had said, "Where the hell are you guys? It's quiet tonight. Where are you guys? You're normally popping around. Where are you?" And we picked up. And me and Diana kind of went back and forth because she sent it to me. I'm like, what the hell is it saying? What the hell is it saying? And then I finally came down to, I hear it say, "We're in Lodge, George." And let me tell you, when I heard it,
That's
the
freaky.
hair on my arms and the back of my neck stood up. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
called
because I
me
got
out by
home
name.
because Diana was home from work that day.
Called me
I was
out
working from
by
home.
You were working
name.
from home. I got home from work. She played that thing that even being investigators and doing this for as long as I've been doing it, when you hear something like that, like what you're talking about, we're in Lodge, George, she played that for me. I had my arm hair going up.
That's why I love doing audio, because I love freaking people out. I love doing it.
And that's why
It's my
we do
favorite
it
thing.
not during the investigation.
Lodge, you dumbass.
Because I can
Joe.
just sit home when I'm alone and do the audio, and then I could just send stuff out to everybody and freak them out all day.
So Joe writes, Ken looks skeptical. Joe, if you rewind, it'll all make sense.
Yeah, you'll see the wide eye.
You'll see why he's skeptical. It all makes sense now. And
Uh-huh.
why Ken is the skeptic.
It's
Because
all
he doesn't-
repressed childhood memories of these guys in my lodge.
You know the thing that didn't really creep me out, but mess. Here's what. It knew my name.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Holy shit. Like, it knew my name, whatever
Not
it
just
was.
your name.
The first time
The
you
two
hear
people in
that,
the room,
yeah.
it was me and another female, okay? It was me and another female. And this voice, there was nobody around, mind you. This voice was clearly a man's voice. And I know for a fact, sitting in that room, there was no other man around.
Right.
It knew my name, and it knew what a lodge was.
Right.
So, based off of your evidence that you've caught that I do not know about, Masons.
Right.
Are they Masons?
There
Yes,
are
they are
Masons, but
yes.
there
are Masons here.
there are a non-Mason
There's
or two
also
here
non-Masons
also,
here.
because
as well.
we've also had Brittany said that there are certain spirits that are not allowed to enter the lodge room because the Masons stopped them.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's
They stop
that
them
is
at the door.
interesting.
Not surprising.
So we're going to take a break. Normally Joe sings, but Joe's not around, so he could probably type in his singing.
We'll keep the
we'll
questions
keep the-
queued up here, though.
We'll keep the questions clear. Oh wait, we do have questions, right?
Yeah. There's a
Okay.
few, yeah.
All right. I just seen them now. We're going to take a break. We'll take a half-hour break. Plug our not half hour. Excuse me. Take a 5-minute break. Walk around, use the bathroom, fill up our cannons, grab another beer, whatever, and then we'll be back. We're also going to plug our commercial. Love you, Joe. We're gonna keep the
Love
live
you,
feed
brother.
going. Keep the questions flowing though, because we'll hang out here as long as you got questions. We'll keep hanging out.
I may
here.
run
Definitely.
downstairs, jump in my car, and leave now.
I'm
a little weirded out. No, none at all. No way. Nope.
Keep the questions going. We'll get to your questions. So, all right, we're gonna pause it up, and we'll be back. All right.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
Kill
no, you
Ken thing,
blocked
man.
it
It's in
out.
now,
It's a
like,
good
I was
one.
like, Jesus, that's right.
You were there, Ken.
I was there.
We have evidence.
I choose not to remember that.
Grab me one too.
You guys.
Oh, that's fun.
Hey, you're the one.
It all makes sense now, though, Ken. I understand why you repress it. I understand.
I'm
I
the
do.
one wandering around with my Facebook Live going, like,
I get it now.
I'm
I
not-
understand.
like,
now
I'm
it
not
all
going
makes
piss
sense
off
to
a
me.
bunch of ghosts.
It all makes sense to me. Now that's why
Surprise.
you're Captain Skeptic.
Yeah.
Because it said he wanted to kill you.
Yep.
All right.
Basically. I haven't gotten slapped in the face yet, but
Just keep
No,
going.
you better not.
Questions for this one.
yeah, I got to scroll back. It should be fine.
It did come out really good. Is it thin?
I like it. Nope,
I'm not being.
nope, that's standard.
All right.
Pretty standard cotton shirt.
I like the thicker cotton ones. That's my personal.
Yeah, I mean these I think
Oh, I can
wash
put it
a
on
lot
heavy.
better and get softer. Like the friggin' thick ones, I think get a
They
little
get
harder. They're like
harder,
a little
yeah.
bit too friggin'.
It's still live. Yep.
Oh,
It's still live. You just hop right over. Do your thing. I'm still just kind of going through the questions and stuff. Oh, thank you.
It is a nice shirt though. I figured our friend Apathy would enjoy getting one of these shirts as a giveaway.
Yes,
You know, I thought
absolutely.
That was,
I
yeah.
would
You know
go
Apathy,
for it.
right?
Apathy,
Connecticut
rapper.
brother, the Masonic rapper.
Chad,
Yes.
Chad Bromley. He's coming up here
Really?
in October.
Nice.
Straight out of the South Gate.
We actually, while we're on that subject, we were supposed to have Pat Militich come on and Skype in, and we had to reschedule. Unfortunately, he'd gotten back off a flight, and busy guy. So
We'll have him at some point.
we will have him on at some point. We just had to reschedule with him.
Nice.
You know Pat Militich?
I don't know.
He's a UFC Hall of Famer.
No, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I just don't.
And Brother Mace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I heard that crushing skulls and Brother Mace, I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Joe's starting. I believe the children are our future.
Oh,
Teach them well and let them lead the way. Greg Schultz says the spirits are in your car.
My car?
Your car.
My car is actually probably too close to the building right now. So if you guys got any smudge sticks or anything, you can like.
Joseph Schultz. Oh, God. Disembodied voices. Never mind. They're just off camera.
It's got to be Messner, the scribe.
Messner. Yeah, scribe.
Messner. He's usually the disembodied voice.
Messner's
off
the disembodied. Yeah, because I
Mhm.
usually when
Screaming
I want a beer or I need him to grab something, I just yell scribe. That's gonna be our new thing. I'm just gonna start calling him scribe. He's not gonna have anything else. He's not secretary. He's not anything else. We just call him scribe. He's a podcast scribe.
There you go.
So feel free to call him whenever you want. Just you know what? As a matter of fact, everybody had this whole competition about George. Because yes, I heard it back, you bastards. About the competition about the funniest meme of George. We'll send you.
Oh yeah, you heard that.
I heard it. I heard it back. So
we thought because you were out of the room that you're.
if you can find a picture of, oh my God, Joe, at the Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Atlanta. Yeah,
He's singing. He's
singing.
Really, Joe? Come on.
Yeah.
What if I could find a little bit of?
But if you can find a picture of Mike Messner, brother Mike Messner,
usually have somebody singing during
the
intermission.
funniest meme.
I'm not such a good singer.
Okay, me neither.
No, we're not singing.
But
We're
I
not
could-
singing.
I
It's
could-
Joe's weird thing that he does.
And
so
rap.
and Raph, yeah, the two of them on a duet the last time.
Can you sing, John?
Heck no.
Okay.
Yes, he can in the car.
Okay.
Yeah,
But if you can find a picture of Mike Messner and just the funniest picture you can come up with him as, scribe, I don't care. You can actually have him as the guy in Rome. Or remember, have you ever seen that HBO series Rome?
No.
With the guy, you never seen it? You gotta check it out. You probably still haven't watched Euro.
I haven't.
Still haven't seen Euro Trip too, have you? Oh my God.
If somebody wants to send me a copy of Euro Trip.
So anybody who's watching, if you've seen the series on HBO Rome, they have a guy in the middle of the forum, right? And he's standing up there and he's doing his oration of all the news, basically. He's like the news guy. He's in a toga. If you can superimpose Mike Messner's face on that with some stuff in a toga,
That'd be
That would
funny.
be funny as hell.
yeah, we'll come up with something for you. So
The podcast agents.
yeah, the podcast agents.
Something about meaning.
Joe Zanino, Ebony, Jesus, Rafferty, Joe Zanino, Ebony, and Ivory live together in perfect harmony, side by side. Oh God,
You have to sing
these
it.
guys, yeah, singing the last podcast. They're freaking singing the two of them sitting right there.
Really?
Yes, you gotta watch it live. They're freaking singing side by side. Dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, at this point, I just let them go. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try radio.
I don't blame you. I don't
There's
blame you
no
whatsoever.
point to me even trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, I found some videos of Ken ghost hunting at the Masonic Temple.
Oh,
He
God.
has a lot of different. There's part 2, part
All right.
3, part 4.
Joe Zanino, in honor of Liberty Ghost Hunters, a little something from the movie Ghost. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch. Jesus, God. All right, what do you guys say?
corny.
Fire this up?
We'll do the second half.
I mean, I do pottery, John, but we ain't getting into that.
No, God, no. We'll leave that for Joe. That's his shtick. We'll leave it. We'll leave it with him.
I'll have to find that Facebook Live of me and see if I can post
Joe,
it.
the
Oh, this
podcast
one with you wearing a
terrorist.
headlamp?
I actually called him the podcast terrorist.
My borrowed
at the farm
headlamp.
degree. I said he was I said Joe
Yeah.
was the ISIS branch of Freemasonry because he's a freaking terrorist. So. All right, you got questions? Fire them in. We're gonna go live again. We're gonna get back into it. Oh,
Once
Rafferty,
Ken gets back here.
Rafferty, who you gonna
He
call?
ran because I showed him the video.
Us.
Liberty Ghost Hunters!
But if you're watching live, we're gonna fire this up right now. So Ken will be back.
All right, everybody. So John and Diane here, just about ready to go dark.
See, this is Ken, evidence that he's gone on Ghost
Where
Adventures.
they kill all the lights and everything, all the cameras are set up.
He can never deny what we have on video.
Nope. He's also done well. He was there as one of our guest well,
So he's a bullshitter, is basically what you're saying.
one of our people that came to give personal accounts at our first investigation, our first presentation.
I'm going to turn this on real quick. So we're going live. We're broadcasting now. So go ahead.
All right.
Ken, Diana just played the audio clip of Ken. So he's clearly he's a skeptic by choice.
By
basically.
choice.
By choice.
Yes.
He was here for our second investigation off the first presentation we did. Did a couple of Facebook
We even
Lives
gave
as
him
well.
credit in the presentation.
Yes, we did.
All
Photos
right.
we
by
did.
Ken.
I had to go to the little ghost room. It was either that or pee myself. So
That person has been
We're
certified.
going to get back into questions again. Greg Schultz, if the lodge building was raised and a new structure built, what happens to the spirits? Can the spirits move to other locations?
If they're attached to the Masonic artifacts, absolutely.
Ah, there you go.
See, that's the whole thing with.
That's the whole premise behind the Annabelle doll, correct?
Correct.
Where they could actually be attached to certain things.
To actual objects.
So, like, we have, and I'm just asking for my own personal, the back of all information on the back
edification.
of edification.
Yes,
It's
Whatever.
the intelligent
I told you
word.
I'm not a freaking English
I know.
scholar, but thank you, Ken. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Can you say canonical for me?
Canonical.
Thank you. But on our chairs, they have like the little placard on some of the back of them that says
Right.
"In memory of worshipful brother." Ba 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 ba.
Mhm.
Does that mean that potentially that brother that chair was dedicated to could potentially be attached to that chair,
If they
and
still-
or the person who dedicated it to him?
If they still feel an attachment to that particular object, absolutely.
No,
It would be more for being a Mason myself. I would think it would be more personalized
Mhm.
if your past master, your gavel, your personal gavel, your
Mhm.
top hat,
Right.
any awards that you may have.
Mhm.
Like we have our past past worshipful grandmasters that came out of Waterbury.
Yep.
We have
The
that
walkway.
whole walkway.
Yep.
There's some personal relics of those most worshipful past masters
Mhm.
that are with their photos.
Mhm.
That could potentially hold on to energy. Definitely.
Greg Schultz asked a question, and actually, with your guys' permission, I'm going to take this one. It says, does the Bible recognize ghosts or spirits of the dead? Hell yes.
Yes, it does.
A perfect example would be King Solomon,
Mhm.
number one. He actually had a ring, and his signet ring was actually said that he could control demons to do his work,
To help build the temple.
to help build the temple.
Yep.
And
Oh, yeah.
that's right smack out of the Torah.
Yep.
So there's no joke about that.
Yeah.
And for those who are, the devil worshiping crazy and everything, you have the pentagram. Actually, not a demonic symbol. It was a symbol of Solomon.
Yes, it was.
And I've made that many, many times where they
Mhm.
see the Eastern Star symbol and they freak the hell out. It was a symbol of Solomon.
Yes, it was.
So
The Old Testament didn't really have that kind of
no. Mm-mm.
that breakdown between the two. It was
No,
later
it's not.
later versions, later things that were added into the
But,
canon.
I mean, does the Bible recognize ghosts or spirits? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus came back 40 days after he was dead and was walking around as a spirit doing his thing.
Lazarus,
So Lazarus, I mean, yeah,
the sheep.
it's all over.
Greg Schultz. So the fellow craft are demons. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, if you follow that logic, yeah.
Yeah. He was setting up. You seen that, right?
Yeah,
he set that
I
up.
saw
He set
that.
that up. He set that up. Very
That was
nice.
a good setup, though.
Yeah.
He set me up. Anyway, let's get back ghost thing. We were talking about being attached to different things. I mean,
Mhm.
there's that story that came out of, I want to say it was the Midwest, about the dude who basically put a curse on a chair, and they've actually taken the chair and stuck it to
That's
the wall.
actually out of Europe.
We did that.
It was
in-
Europe.
We
covered
actually
that in
covered it in our
podcast.
podcast.
Careful what you
See
bring
what I'm
home.
doing? See what I'm doing here?
We did
I'm
haunted-
bringing it right back to you guys.
Basically, it's called our podcast is Haunted Objects,
Mhm.
and it can be anything. Anything that they're willing to put energy into, like mirrors, hell no. I'm buying a brand new mirror. I'm not buying any secondhand mirror. No way.
Mirrors are a big one.
Mirrors are the big one.
The real mirrors, not the
real mirrors.
Okay.
So I had a couch. It was actually a decent couch, and I was buying new furniture, and I think I might have given you guys a couch. Our couch is okay.
Your couch
Usually,
is fine.
yes.
I mean, we bought that couch
Just
new,
don't-
so there's no like.
Ken,
evil.
just don't blacklight the thing.
Oh
We have a
God!
cover.
Wow.
You had to go
We
there,
have a
didn't
cover
you?
on it.
We have a cover.
We're good.
I had to. You left the door wide open. I'm sorry. If you leave the door open, I'm going to walk
If
through
this
it.
were after hours, I would debate you on this, but it's not. So,
You leave the door open, I'm going to kick it in. I'm sorry.
but mirrors are a no go.
Because
A couch could
certain
be attached
cultures
to-
use mirrors for trapping spirits to get rid of them.
Oh, and somebody could just be like, "Here, free
So it's kind
mirror
of like
at the estate
Constantine,
sale."
right? That was a
Yes.
good movie, too. You probably didn't see that one.
yeah. I didn't see that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I know.
What is
it
it,
sucks.
Bubble?
I do.
Where do you think they got most of that from? Especially that
Interesting.
mirror thing. It's trapped.
I don't watch movies about ghosts for obvious reasons.
I know that.
You can use mirrors to summon.
Yeah, you can use mirrors to
To
summon,
be a portal.
Now,
which led into like Alice in the Looking Glass.
let's tear this
Things
back.
like that.
Let me bring this back to the chamber of reflection.
Mhm.
We have a mirror in our chamber of reflection.
Correct.
It is used for
In a reflection.
in a chamber of reflection to look inside yourself to see if you're a good enough person to be a Freemason.
Mhm.
But you have a mirror in there,
Mhm.
so I guess in a way you're kind of summoning your inner demons. Could be kind of attributed to the same in a sense.
Yeah, it could be.
Inner demons not as in like,
No,
negative
not,
ones, but
not like
reflecting
that,
on your
but
own.
but the same principle, kind of,
yeah.
in a sense.
Yeah.
Greg Schultz, can energy be dissipated or grounded and the spirits removed?
Well, ask the electrical engineer that question.
There's really no way that. I know people have looked into that, but I don't think anybody's actually come up with a plausible way to do it. To be honest, I mean, theoretically, should it work? Yeah, it should work. It should be able to dissipate the energy if you can ground it out.
Right.
But has
sometimes there's
anybody-
divine energy. You can't.
yeah, it plus, if you think about it from a theoretical standpoint, if that's actually a human's energy, do we have the right to ground that out and
Right.
basically dissipate that energy? That's a slippery slope.
Right.
So if you had to do that, is there like, would you just like destroy the object and then
There's certain
If
ways
you're-
of
if you're-
destroying
like,
objects.
if there's something really evil in a mirror or something, for example?
Well, see, if you're dealing with
Every morning you wake up and comb your hair.
Just look at my face in that
You
mirror
just
and I'm
keep
like,
leaving the door open. Continue.
it's a serious question, though. I mean, obviously,
But see, when it comes to something like that, you're sending it back from where it came from. So technically, you're not destroying the energy. You're just sending it back to where it came from in a demonic. When you're dealing with a demonic case, so if like there's certain, in Wicca they use binding spells and things like that to bind it to a mirror. We don't use mirrors. We're investigators. We come up with different ways. Most times we hope, like we said, we don't find anything, and most oftentimes it's a family member. But when they do a binding spell, they'll bind it to the mirror and get rid of the mirror. It doesn't get rid of it. Will get rid of it from that location.
right.
And destroying the mirror will send it back to where it came, and it can't get back to torment those people
Okay.
because of the way they do their rituals work.
But you guys don't do any of that kind of stuff. Like you're
No, we do not.
just investigating.
You just
not
We do
Investigating,
investigations,
manipulating.
and then if we need to, like I said, we bring in our minister to do blessings, smudgings, and things
And
like
if we
that.
have to reach out for more help, we are not
You got some people.
opposed.
You got a guy.
We're very humble. If we can't
Got a
handle
guy.
it,
Then
We can handle
we
that.
send it to
That's our line. We got a guy.
Yeah.
we
You
got-
guys got some guys.
Matthew Butts asks, say if you believe that a place is occupied by spirits, What are some things you can do to help them move on?
Well, first thing you have to
Get out! No,
basically what George did.
There's
You
the
have
door.
to lay your ground rules. If there is, for example, I had a coworker on my job, and she said, she keeps seeing spirits. She has a young child under about 1 year old that looks around the room and laughs at nothing, and she takes pictures and sees orbs, and obviously we know children see spirits and angels
because they're not corrupt.
They're
more
innocent.
innocent, so they can see.
And
that
it's
stuff.
normally a family member. So what I told her is she needs to set ground rules. She needs to say basically, because she realized, through what the baby was saying, who it was her grandmother. And basically I said, you're going to have to just let your grandmother know that you're very happy to have the protection that she's offering, but please only step in when needed. And you have to do set the ground rules so they understand you're thankful for them to watch over you, but they are disturbing you by being there all the time.
Right. Also,
and that did
if
work.
Somebody, sure. To add on what Diana says is also
Ginger ale,
with,
Diana.
let's say it's a house.
The ginger ale. The ginger ale.
Ginger ale.
Ginger ale coming your way.
Ginger ale. But if you're dealing, let's say it's your house, George, your house. You have something going on.
I do. They're called three kids that terrorize things. But continue. I'm listening.
They're
No kids,
corporeal,
no
though,
wife,
and-
but you have things going on. You have to take ownership of your house. It's your house. It's your rules. You dictate. Well, let's say your house was built in the 1800s and you got somebody, a past owner. Okay? It's your house now. It's not theirs anymore.
Right.
You need to put your foot down and say, enough is enough.
Right.
This is not your house anymore. This is my house. This is our house. We are going to live here, not in fear of you. You need to leave.
Right. Right.
Now, in situation, you may have what we call a residual. Where there's not much you really can
It's
do
like
about it.
it's like just a
It's a
reference.
loop.
It's a loop. It just plays
Every
and plays.
Tuesday at a certain time, you hear footsteps. Nothing's going on. That's all you're hearing.
Right.
It's just-
Then you just get used to, okay, 2 o'clock. Yep, there it is again.
So-
Okay. And
Wow,
eventually
that's weird.
you'll get used to it and it just,
Right.
you tune it out.
So before we get to the next question, what is up here? Residual or
No.
regular?
You have intelligent haunts here.
Intelligent. Okay.
Yes, definitely intelligent.
By the way, I also wanted to say when I yelled "get out," I'm not telling the spirits up here to get out. We love you.
Right.
We have a good time.
I don't think they're leaving.
With
anytime
satire,
soon.
guys.
No, they're not. They're not leaving.
I think
Joseph.
they have an agenda that they want to see accomplished, and I don't think they're going to leave and be satisfied.
Yeah.
I hope it's dyeing Joe's hair. Joseph
I
Schultz.
doubt that, but okay.
Joseph Schultz. Can they ever move on by themselves, or do we have to help them?
They can move on by themselves.
Hmm.
Like Diana just said, the agenda.
Mm.
Certain spirits has unfortunately, as media and movies has made it unfinished business. Which is so cliche at this point, but they have a certain agenda
Or just
of
a
things
message.
or a
Right.
message, and once they get that message out, or a certain thing that they were trying to get done gets done, then they move on by themselves.
Well, I've also said like I think their activity ramped up in here when we came back because they were happy that the Masonic Lodge was back here.
And you and I have had a discussion about that.
Greg Schultz. First off, he's making fun of me. I'll say this first. George, do you wash your hands after you pee? You put your fingers in your mouth a lot. Just an observation. I don't have my arm in my. I don't have the mic arm in my face anymore. So I'm doing the leaning thing, and my hand just happens to be here. But he also says, "Mama said Ouija boards are the devil."
Yes.
Are they really that bad?
Mama was right.
Or was Mama wrong again?
Our last podcast was about
We
Ouija
actually did
boards.
Ouija boards
Actually,
on the last podcast.
Your last podcast, you did Ouija boards,
Yep.
and shortly after I listened to it, I texted Diana and I said, "Just bought a Ouija board, YOLO."
What did I put? Let me check my calendar to schedule your exorcism.
So you guys are
And Brittany was like,
Don't mess with
sucks us up.
Yeah,
No.
Brittany has this theory if Like if you're gonna go buy the Annabelle doll and play with it,
or buy a
you're gonna-
Ouija board.
she jokes around. I mean, obviously we would help you, but she jokes around to say, "Sucks to suck," and that's it. But that's just
I think this is maybe
it's not just Ouija boards. It's anything that you can open a portal to something you have no idea about.
I mean, using a
Especially
I guess
Ouija
my
spirit
whole thing
box
is
could do the same.
So it's like George changing a breaker downstairs when the power goes out, right? Like you don't understand that box, don't open it. Same principle applies here, right?
and I didn't.
No, I think you're a little
safe.
safer with church with the box.
I was worried about either blowing my own ass up or blowing the entire building up.
Yep.
I'd be the guy who knocks down the whole entire historical building because I was like, "Oh, what's this switch do?"
Yeah, and you get charged posthumously.
But what was I saying? I guess my whole outlook on the Ouija board is, and I don't really think it matters, like you said with the Ouija board. If you're going to, I'm going to get a Ouija board just to screw around and act like an ass, you kind of got coming to you what you looked for, you know?
Exactly.
Careful what you wish for.
Right.
Exactly.
If you're going to, like, oh, let's get a Ouija board and screw with some spirits, you're probably going to get something and be like, leave us alone, you know, and they're going to be nasty to you. Whereas if you do it, I think, and this is just my opinion, I could be entirely wrong. I'm sure you guys have a different opinion, but if it's that whole thing of, you know, you come up and you pet the dog, you're fine. But if you start poking him with a stick, you're probably going to get bit. I guess that's
waking the sleeping bear.
Yes, I guess that's the way I kind of look at it. But Greg Schultz, is there spirit activity higher during a thunderstorm or during solar storms?
Good question.
That's a very good question.
It all depends on the energy in the area. I mean, for most part, rains, thunderstorms, it could because of all the energy in the area. Solar storms, same thing, because you're getting all that energy and radiation put in.
Solar storms and particular events with the moon heighten people and open them more. So I feel that
you may feel
so there's
more.
things already there, but I think that those type of energies, nature's energies, heighten a person's feelings.
Right.
So then you see more. It's not that things appear more. I think that the people have their guards down more.
You're more
So
receptive to
they're
it.
more
Kind of like
receptive.
around Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants to be the
veil
ghost.
is
of
thin.
Exactly.
Right.
Interesting though, because in the movies, like when all the ghost movies, it's always a stormy night outside,
Well, just
right?
that's just
It's like,
fact.
where
Well,
did
that's
that come
that's setting the scene, though. You know, that's kind of that's how
You know,
Greg Schultz.
Well,
Mama
maybe
is
that came
never
from
wrong. Mama's not wrong. You're wrong.
you're wrong, bitch.
By the way, we were talking about our astrological signs before, and Vicky Valancourt says I'm a Virgo. I love that freaking movie. She showed me her movies, and I like them too. Brittany just popped on. Mark Zuccarello. I seen him yesterday. Brother Mark. He
Brett,
popped.
pull card.
I seen him at the farm degree. He was there. We had a good time. Can animals sense activity that we cannot? I'm gonna go with a whole hell yes.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I remember my dog Zeke at my parents' house. My stepmother Dawn and my father had a dog. Well, we all had a dog, Zeke. And I remember him just sitting there, and he would just stare at the corner of the room for just 10, 15 minutes. Like, dog, what's with you? And he would look at you like,
That dog ain't right.
Our cat, on occasion, acts like someone's on the stairs at our house.
Only one of our cats. She's weird.
Yeah, she is a little weird.
She's a little. I always think she's like part something else.
Yeah.
My wife said
that
once,
creeps the shit out of me, by the way. Let me just say, when you see animals just
Yeah,
staring, or even
the
kids.
first time
Oh
I
my
did
God.
that,
Yeah, kids.
I remember
Kids do that
like
too.
holding one of my boys at the house. I can't remember if it was Ethan or whatever. I'm holding him in my hands, and they would just stare at the wall. They're just looking. You're like, what the hell are you looking at? Because you're freaking me out. You know what? Here you go. Take him.
well, their eyes are
we,
just starting to develop.
Right.
When we were doing a
Captain
ceremony
Skeptic again.
for my grandfather, we were burying his ashes, and my
Right.
son Brian, what was he? He was like,
Oh, God, he had like
3 or 4. No, he was
four?
young.
Yeah, 4.
It was
He
before
young. Yeah,
Thomas
4.
was born, and he says, "Mom, why are we putting that box in the ground? Grandpa's in the tree." And I'm like, oh.
3 or 4-year-olds saying that.
Free.
Warm up the car. Time to go.
Yeah. He's like, he's not in that box that we're burying. He's in the tree.
Grandpa's gonna stay in that tree. We're leaving.
Grandpa's wrong again.
I'm happy.
I got a quick one.
Go ahead.
So I have a friend who lives in Naugatuck in an older kind of house, and he doesn't have any pets or anything.
Right.
I'll be right back.
My wife and I were over at his house once, and he was like, every once in a while, he was like looking over in the corner, and he's like, I thought I saw something. And my wife's like, oh, you got ghost cats. And I'm like, what? And she's like, oh, ghost cats. Once in a while, you look out of the corner of your eye, you see an animal run across, and you look back, and there's no animal there. It's a ghost cat.
We have one in our house.
I've had a ghost cat in my house. I bought my house in June 1st, 2000. And that was before I had kids and everything. And there was a ghost cat, and
that's a thing. That's a thing you guys have seen.
And now Happy, one of our cats, has passed away. We feel that cat jump into our bed. And there's
or
no
you feel the
there.
cat rub against you because she was a leg rubber.
Yep.
So she would always be rubbing against your leg. Yeah. So you get used to it.
Wow.
Well, one day I'm sitting in the kitchen, I'm packing dinner to go, packing lunch to go to work. I feel a cat rub my leg. I look down, nothing. I'm
That's freaky.
Okay.
But there's always been a ghost cat in our house even before we moved.
Yeah, kind of translucent looking.
Yeah,
weird.
it spends a lot of time on the stairs, and sometimes it comes around a lot when people are upset.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So my buddy Steve, if you're watching this episode, you got ghost cats. It's a thing.
They don't hurt you.
Not just my wife. They said the same thing.
Dogs too. Even I know
dogs.
there's one case where they actually, I forget who was investigating. It wasn't us, but another group was investigating a farm, and they actually had EVPs, or electric voice phenomenon, of horses.
Oh, that's weird.
A horse name, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me! I can see cats, dogs, but a horse is still around. I'm like, okay, that's a new one for me.
Joseph Schultz. Are
Weird.
people haunted or